All right, we'll say hello and good evening to everybody out there. You're watching Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio, shortwave, amateur radio, electronics, anything near that. We probably talk about it. I'm not sure what else we're going to cover tonight, but this is International Joke Day. I was told by Chris, AC5CM, International Joke Day. Well, all the ham radio jokes I found so far are pretty lame, so we're not going to probably do any of those tonight. But anyway, hey, thanks for joining. And if you're listening out there on WBCQ on 7490, it's Thursday for you. And we'd like to hear from you. Send us an email to tom@w5kub, tom@w5kub.com. And let us know where in the world you are and how you're hearing the station coming to you all the way from the border of Maine and Canada up in the northeast there. And we're not a real high power station. I think this transmitter is probably only running about 50,000 watts, possibly, maybe a little less. But still, we're glad we're on shortwave, and we do know that folks do hear us out there. If you want to join our show live, our video show live, and our chat room, you can join us on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time just by going simply to w5kub.com, w5kub.com, and you'll see the video on one side, and you'll see the chat room on the other side. It makes it real simple for you. We are streaming on Facebook group, our Facebook group of over 14,000 people. We're streaming on x.com tonight, and we're also streaming on YouTube. And if you're out there on YouTube, we don't use YouTube's chat room, so you might wonder why it's turned off. If you want to chat with us and the crew here, you're going to have to go to w5kub.com and click up there in a little yellow button that says chat, and you can join our chat with our live show here. We are on an IRC server, and we're not on the YouTube chat server. All right. Let's see what else. Hit the subscribe button if you will. Hit that like button if you like some of the shows. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like. Hit the notify button. We may come on during the week with something interesting, and you don't want to miss out on it, so please hit that. You know, I was looking the other day, we've got a lot of people that watch this, but 80 or 85% of the people that watch our show are not subscribers. So please hit subscribe. That would really help us out a whole lot there. We're on just about every podcast carrier from iTunes to iHeartRadio to Google Play. All those are carrying us. And let's see what else is going on here. Well, that's probably enough right now. So, hey, tonight we're going to talk mostly about field day. We've got pictures from various field days and what we came up with and what we bought at field day. We're going to talk about that. Hey, I don't know if you saw last week our action figures. We might have time to show you our action figures again. Ham radio action figures. We've got some new ones, and we can show you those. And I've got a segment on tuning coax traps. For trapped antennas. If we have time, we might get into that. I don't know. Maybe we'll show it the next week. I don't know. So let's look around the room here and see who we got in here. It looks like what we got here. Did we lose somebody? Did we lose? I think we lost Brett. No, Brett's still here.
He's there.
Brett's still here. There he is. I don't know why it was dark for a minute. Okay. Well, anyway, hey, you're at the top there, Glenn. Let's see what you got going, man.
Oh, not a whole lot. Just still recovering from field day. Had a lot of fun with the Faulkner County group here. And did real good. Got some good pictures. Didn't get many because I was spent too much time operating.
Yeah?
And yeah, did a little bit most of the day Saturday, and then Sunday morning I came home to sleep. But yeah, and yeah, I find it interesting y'all are talking about what you bought at field day.
Well, that might have
Yeah.
been a slip. That was probably a slip on me. I know Brett had mentioned, he can talk about it in a little while. He got something new, I guess this weekend or something, and I don't know why I
Well, so did
associated
I.
it. Yeah. Oh, did you? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
Um, yeah. So, yep, I bought some stuff too. Well, from
You
same
buy it?
same as Brett.
Did you buy it at Field Day?
No, I bought it at the same place Brett bought his.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool, man. All right. We'll talk
But,
about it later in
yeah,
a little while. In a little while, but okay.
yeah.
Continue.
Oh, that's pretty much it. Just recovered from field day. Spent all day Sunday afternoon and Monday just recovering. And
Yeah.
today had to try to mow the lawn because with all the rain and everything, the lawn's about jungle height.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Mine grows pretty fast here too.
so
Um,
hopefully I'll get to finish that tomorrow and get back to playing in the workroom.
so, did you do any operating during?
Oh yeah.
Did you?
I would say that I got at least 400 contacts
Gee,
on
I know a group
20
that
and
I
50.
know a group that only made 200 contacts total.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, and that was only in about 7, 8 hours of operating. And I never worked 40. It was all on 20, 15, and even 10. 10 was wide open.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, how about you, Brad? Do you have a good time at Field Day?
Yes, I had a very good time at Field Day. We had I have video to show either now or later, and it was just a great time. It was a big group. They were all very friendly. We had a big potluck with all kinds of food. And in the run up to Field Day, I did make one really cool purchase. Although I did not use it on Field Day because it wasn't equipment for Field Day.
Okay. Well, we'll
I can
get
show you
this.
what that. I can show
Yeah.
you what it is.
We'll get that in a little while. Okay. Let's see how we're gonna do this now. So we've got several field days. I've got pictures I took at the Memphis Field Day. I'm a little disappointed. I mean, it was I don't know what the word was. Not much activity there, and I've noticed year after year it's getting like that. I don't notice many young people there. Probably it's the old geezers. It's the reason this field day is going bad here. Um, but I've got pictures of field day. You guys have got some stuff you can show us from field day. Also, there were a few posts on our Facebook group that we can look at from field day from various places around. We made the offer to put anybody's field day on the show and let them talk about it. I posted it out to a number of Facebook social media groups with a total membership of about 400,000 people. And out of 400,000 people, we had 0 takers. 0. Not even a comment about it. So I guess all the old geezers like me were sleeping most of the time. I don't know what's going on. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's just jump right into it. And first, let's talk about new things that you bought. We won't talk about field day yet, but what did you get, Brett?
Okay, well, GigaParts, which is a big sponsor of the Huntsville Hamfest, because of course it's their hometown Hamfest, had a Let's Make a Deal event the week before Field Day. And a lot of people were buying things for Field Day. But the thing that I wanted that I was able to get for about a 20% discount, it was just tremendously good price, was this here. And what this
Yeah.
is, I don't know if you can see it very well,
Yeah.
is a GMRS radio.
Yeah.
This is the Midland MXT 500 radio.
Yeah.
It's a 50 watt GMRS rig.
Okay.
And it's got all sorts of cool features, including a USB-C charger that's built into it, so you can connect your cell phone and charge it. And it's got all of the tones, digital and analog. And it's just it's about the best GMRS mobile and base station radio you can get right now. Some people like the BTAC. I think that the Midland is probably the best that's out there. And so I went and got that and got a killer price on it. So
Well,
I'm
that's
thankful
pretty
to
good.
GigaParts for doing that.
Well, I've noticed that they're doing this now. This is besides their sweepstakes, isn't it? Now I noticed on their sweepstakes they're doing their sweepstakes different too. They don't have a HF rig or something out there they're giving away every quarter or whatever. Have you noticed that, guys? It's some kind of spin the wheel thing, and I don't know if you even know what you win if you enter into that. Have you seen that?
Yes, they've changed it.
I've never
And as a matter of fact, we can bring up the site on the
Yeah,
screen if you'd like.
yeah.
But, it's true. They're no longer giving away a super HF rig.
Yeah, they were
used to.
giving away, after the rigs, they were giving away a $5,000 gift card, but then they stopped doing that, and now it's kind of spin the, I'll bring that up real quick here. It's not GigaParts, is it? It's GigaParts.
No. Yeah, GigaParts is the Lady Gaga site. You don't want to go
Yeah,
there.
yeah. All right, so here we go. So it can't be reached. And let me turn Brit on. Let's see what I spelled it wrong. GigaParts. There it is.
There it is.
It finally came up. Okay, so okay, sweepstakes up here at the top. Sweepstakes. It used to always have a very nice HF rig, really nice. $5,000 last time was the prize, and now it's spin to win. And I don't know if I like this as much. But maybe it was getting too expensive giving out the big radio or whatever. So how do you know here if you spin this? I guess you get what it lands on, right? Here's dollars.
Well, if you look at the right-hand column, that's the selection of prizes.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a
Now,
Canon.
GigaParts is diversifying. They used to be mostly ham radio and electronics geek kind of gear, and
Yeah.
they're now trying to become more like Fry's Electronics. So they have all sorts of stuff, including 3D printing, which is a big thing at the Hamfest. They're now going into cameras.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I've
they
been in
now
their
have a
store.
much
I've been in their
higher
store a
quantity
couple
of-
times. They carry everything from metal detectors to just about everything. So hey, that FTX1, I was surprised. I looked at the price. The other day. That thing was thousands of dollars. What's that sell for now? Anybody know?
No idea.
I
The
would have to look, but it's
FTX1.
not cheap.
See, hey, look it up, Brett. Let's see what the FTX1 sells for. It seemed like to me it was. You got it?
That was actually
you
my
go.
first ham radio
30
call.
seconds here.
Yeah, my original call
Okay,
was
coming up.
WN4 FTX.
All right. What is it, Brett?
Okay, waiting for a page to load.
Oh,
It's a little slow because I'm on the air. That's about 2K.
really? Man. Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty
What
neat.
bands and modes does it have?
I think it's HF through 6.
Man, that's an
Let's see.
expensive HF through 6.
It may even have.
It is actually a shack in the box.
Yeah.
It does HF, and then it goes all the way up to 70 centimeters.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, hey, there's an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090. Now I could have used that. I bought this GeForce card to put in here. Those things are pretty expensive. Check and see what does an RTX 5090 sell for? Let's check this out. They may have some pretty decent prizes here, actually.
Okay, let's see. Let's ask Amazon.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
RTX 5090.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, first vendor, that's almost 3K.
3,000 for
Wow.
that card. We could use that for the show. You know, I think the card we've got right now, new, probably sold for about $1,200. So we must have a low end card in here. But it's plenty high end enough to make us work better. It fixed all of our problems there.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see what else. So they've got the NVIDIA card. They've got the FTX One. I guess that's a Canon. I'm sure it's probably a camera, right?
That's
US.
a DSLR.
Yeah. And then you got the Bamboo. What is that? That's a printer. Huh, okay.
3D printer, and judging from the fact that it says it's a laser, I wonder if that one is a resin printer. I'd have to look up the
I don't know.
model.
Oh, okay. Or I guess you can take a payment here. Look, or, well, maybe you can select which one or the other. $2,000. That's kind of neat. Okay, all right. That'll buy a decent radio. So yeah, cool. All right. Now wait. You got you a GMRS radio. Cool. Midland. That's a good brand, I think.
It is, and it's normally about $300, and I got it for about between 220 and 230. So that was a substantial discount. They really, I was really, I wanted to thank them for that. They gave me a fantastic discount on that radio.
So I've been seeing
shopping around.
I've been seeing that. Name your price deal. How's that work? You just pick any price and throw it at them?
Well, you throw a price at them, and they might accept it, or they might make a counter offer.
Counter? Yeah. Okay.
I offered them 310, figuring that there'd be added charges and things, and they went up to 320 something, but there was free shipping.
Yeah. Okay.
So
well, cool.
It was in the right ballpark.
All right. Well, I started to build for my friends here a GMRS repeater. We just didn't have the height, so I canned that idea. And I bought two. I think they were 50-watt radios. They weren't.
Think they were Redivis?
Yeah, I wasn't going to name who they are, but that's who they were. Anyway, I ran a few tests with them. You key up, you get to 50 watts. And after about 30 seconds, you start watching the watt meter. Instead of 50, you get 35. And then after about almost 45 seconds, you got maybe 25 watts. And, it would actually go down so fast until it would cut off. And you'd have to reset it. So I bet that Midland doesn't do that. I bet that Midland is solid.
Yeah, Midland's been in the business a long time.
Yeah.
They make good stuff. They've been making UHF radios for other parts of UHF for a long time.
Yeah. Well, and then your B-Tech is really Bofang. It's just they have a U.S. based distributor, and they go by.
I understand that they have a really nice GMRS repeater, which is just one unit. And very easy to set up.
Yeah, maybe. But I think it's pretty low power. Maybe
it's I think 25 watts.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, well, very good. So, is there a lot of GMRS activity there? You got people you're going to talk to?
Yeah, it's growing, especially among preppers.
Yeah.
We have a fair number of preppers in our area, and for some reason, they probably should be hams as well, but I guess they figure that GMRS requires less work to get the license, so they're going for that.
Yeah, my friends here, that's what they were. They're preppers and think the world's going to come to the end, and they're trying to, buy a piece of land out in the country where the whole family can meet, and they want a radio they can talk anywhere they want to, and the whole family. And oh man, I'm telling you, I can't really give you what you were looking for. even ham radio, I can't guarantee you're going to talk to somebody at a certain time, at a certain distance.
Yeah, but they do better with HF if they're trying to go around the world without going through a repeater.
Yeah. All right, well, very good. All right, well, tell us how it works out. Hey, I've got a GMRS base antenna I bought that I can't get rid of here. I've taken it to several Hamfests and nobody buys it. Brand new. I doubt. I don't even know if we made a contact through it. But it's a fiberglass, ground plane type, UHF base antenna.
So is it, what, 6 dBi or so?
Well, it's probably like 5 or something, I think they overrate a lot of those. But
the radio that I got comes with a unity gain antenna, and I have one that's probably about 3 dB.
Now you talk about the GMRS radio.
I'm talking, the GMRS radio comes with an antenna and a mag mount in the package.
Oh, okay, yeah, mag mount. I thought you had one that you put on the back of the radio. I thought that might be a little unusual, Okay.
Yeah. And I've got, and then I have one that's a little bit better, which has maybe twice the gain. And if I want more gain, I'll have to get something like that fiberglass one.
Yeah. All right. Well, Glenn, what did you pick up?
Well, I've got that Go box with the Yaesu FT450 in it and everything. You'll see a picture of it here in a little bit. It was actually featured in QST magazine back in like 2015. Yeah. And of course, I've got it with a Heil headset and a setup so I can use both voice memories with foot pedals and the whole 9 yards. It is a serious contesting rig. But I haven't touched it for like 2 years because I missed field day last year because I was packing. And then, so this year I didn't have time to take everything out and make sure it was all good and everything. So I'm unboxing it, and my Heil headset, one of the earpieces, had literally broken off.
Oh, no.
And so I ended up having to tape, and it was the side with the microphone on it, so I had to tape it back together and hold it to my ear for over 400 and something contacts. But I got it back in today and may have it repaired, but we know how well these repairs work in the field for lengths of time. So well, you could have. I went to.
You could have just used. So you could have just took some super glue and kind of run it around that rubber edge of that thing and stuck it to your ear there. You're gonna keep it on there all day.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
No, but came home and yesterday afternoon went and ordered me a brand new Heil Pro Set Elite from GigaParts.
That's cool.
So that's going. So it needed it. I mean, my word, that was like a 10-year-old field day rough usage. I mean, I'm looking at the cable this afternoon while I'm putting it back together, in about 6 spots the rubber on the cable itself has fractured and dried and cracked.
Yep.
So I'm like, it's time. It's not even worth sending back to fix. Yeah. So I'm like, forget it. We'll go get a brand new one. So we've got a new one coming. And but that was the big event of the field day, was having to hold that headset to my ear like this for the whole contest. That's the benefit of having a hands-free setup. I could have it hands-free, and I could still be logging with my right hand. So it was good. It all worked.
Feel sorry for you. Really do.
Yeah, right. Don't.
Well, tell me a little about your field day. About how many people were out there, and how many different operating positions did you have? And
let's see. We had Well, we were operating as 3 Alphas, so we had 3 operating positions, primarily a CW station,
Uh-huh.
a 40-meter phone station, and of course a GOTA station. And then up on the hill behind the EMA, they had a 20-meter beam and a trailer. And I've got pictures of some of that whenever you want to do pictures.
Now, were you operating in the trailer?
Yes, I was. Once I heard where 20 meters was, because this was my first field
Yeah.
day with this
Yeah.
group. And
Did the
we got
trailer-
to talking.
Did the trailer have air conditioning?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that would
It
be
was,
nice.
it was nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was roomy enough, and with the Go Box, everything worked out really well. And we had a really nice Mosley beam at the top of the tower. And for us, I've seen people saying the band wasn't open. I will tell you that for us, 20 meters was open way, way into the night.
Mhm.
I ended up getting 2 Alaskan station, which is a very rare thing for me, and also worked a Scottish station from Scotland over Long Path.
Well, that's
So
cool. Yeah.
that was really a highlight of the field day for us. And but they said I left around 9 o'clock, and they said the band stayed open way late, and they were still making. But I mean, for us, it was an unbelievable pileup. I would say every time I let go of the mic, there was 10 people calling, and all I'm doing is listening for one letter that I can call back with, ending in Zulu or,
Yeah.
the Kilo Bravo station. It was just unbelievable. I've never had it. I mean, it was that way for 4 straight hours. And we were running about 120, 130 QSOs an hour just on our station.
Well, wow.
So-
How about, tell us about the food. You guys eat out there?
Oh, yeah. They ordered in pizza. And,
pizza.
oh my word. They had cherry cobbler and peach cobbler and just all kinds of baked goods.
Yeah.
They had nice Danish for breakfast on Sunday. Oh, yeah. Food was wonderful.
Well, Memphis had hot dogs. They didn't even bring a grill out. They just threw them on the sidewalk for about, 30, 45
Yeah.
seconds. And then it just washed them off, put them in a bun, and everybody was happy.
Well, I know the post office was sending out recipes on how to bake lasagna in your mailbox last week.
Is that right? Oh, yeah.
It was that hot, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, whenever
All right.
you're ready, I've got some pictures here of ours.
Well, let's
I guess you wanna
let's
hold
let's
those
let's,
a
let's
little
go ahead and look at them.
bit. Okay. Let's see here. Once I can find screen. Here we go.
You're getting pretty good with that computer.
There we go. There's my Go Box there on the left.
Oh yeah.
But this was one of the, I want to say he was a district judge or something of that nature. But he read a proclamation declaring the weekend Amateur Radio Weekend. And there's a handful of the club members that were there. We probably had about twice as many that are in the picture. And then there he is reading the proclamation. And then this is the trailer at the top of the hill. And
Okay.
our 20 meters was, of course, in there. And then that's actually the disassembly of the beam, but it's a good picture of the beam and rotator setup that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the beam up in the air on top of a hill, no less.
Whoa.
So it was really good. And then there's the operation with the Go Box and everything. And let me tell you what, I had some really good loggers. There are very few loggers that can keep up with me. And these guys did it, and we just had an absolute total blast. It was just nonstop calling and racking up QSOs. Like I say, I believe I've got at least 400. I'll get the full count here next Tuesday, not this, next week. But I'm going to say I got at least 400 QSOs out of the deal.
Well,
So,
that's
that
good.
was pretty much our field day.
All right. Well, looks like you had fun, and you had
Oh,
some
yeah.
nice setups there, and you had air conditioning, and it sounded like you had good food. It was probably a successful day. Now, no rain or lightning interrupted it the 2 days.
Oh no, it was. We had lightning and storms rolling through, and we, shut down during the worst of it.
Okay.
But they cleared out about 3 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, and so I worked in 6 hours until like 9 p.m. and then came back the next day. And of course, the storms had already cleared, but it was just steaming hot. And
Did you,
fortunately, again, we were.
Yeah. Did you guys have anybody that stayed and worked all night?
Oh yeah, I would
Yeah.
say about half the group stayed overnight.
Okay.
But I was just not up for that this year. Maybe next year, but yeah, I came home and then went back out the next morning.
Okay.
But yeah,
Very
it
good.
was a lot of fun. Typical field day. What got me though was, you're on the top of the sunspot cycle, and 20 meters really showed it. 10 meters was open. 15 was open. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had a field day pile up on 15 and 10 meters.
But you know something
So,
though,
yeah.
I'm just thinking. I think the bands are open. A lot of times when you think the bands are dead, I think the bands are open and people just aren't on
Yes.
it. So the fact
Yes.
that you heard a lot of people on it might have been just because it was field day. I have no idea, man.
I don't know, but 10 was hot,
Yeah.
15 was hot. And I mean, I'm working pile up after pile up. And Brett, what call were you running on yours? Because I may have worked you guys. I got a lot of Wyoming stations.
Yes, we were running, let's see, our call was WY7HR for ham radio.
No, I did not get that one. I would have remembered that one. I was November 5 Golf Kilo. And if you worked us Saturday afternoon, that was me.
I will check the log, I'm not sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good field day all around. There were no emergencies, no crises, no blown up radios, no people hurt. That always makes for a good field day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, hey, Brett, you want to talk a little about your experience and what went on with
Yes.
yours?
Well, Laramie, Wyoming, our club did not have its own separate field day. A few of us went over to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and we sort of had a joint field day with the Shiwai Radio Club, which is, again, WY7HR. And I've got some
HR.
video of that. Yeah. And we had similar band conditions to what Glenn is talking about. Everything was open. 20 meters was fantastic. And I was the digital guy. I guess, I often am. I brought my little 20-watt G90 and a little loop and set them up next to my car. And I'll show you. I'll show you how it went. When I got there, I discovered I didn't know where this site was. I discovered that their field day was in an actual field. Just a big grassy field out behind a fire station. And so here's a sort of a panoramic view.
With no trees, no shade.
And no trees, bright Wyoming sky. There's an emergency response vehicle there. and a lot of people brought pavilions to set up because of the lack of shade.
Yeah.
And people began to set up antennas. You can see a sloper in the back there, and more antennas going up here. And the tables with the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And they had an Arden network, so that we were able to link all. We were able to link all of our computers together using Wi-Fi for the event. And I was able to. I set up a time server. I don't know if anybody took advantage of that, but I set up NTP because for digital modes you've got to synchronize, and so it's handy to have a time server on the network. So anyway, we mostly tailgated. Here's the antenna I set up. It's the Alex loop that I bought at a Hamfest about a year ago. And as you can see, it's got the tuning capacitor down here at the bottom. And what you do in order to tune it is you just go to the frequency that you want to operate on, and you turn that little knob down there, which you can just sort of see at the bottom. And when the audio peaks, you know that you're tuned in.
You say when
And
the audio?
this
Did you say audio?
That's right. You actually listen to the audio on the frequency of interest, and then you turn that you tune the capacitor until you hear the most noise or the most signal, and then you know that you've tuned the loop.
Oh, you tune for the best signal. I thought maybe it had some type of tone. You adjust for a tone. So I assume that most of these loops like that are fairly low power. What's the power rating on that loop right there?
This one has a maximum power of 20 watts.
Uh-huh.
And I had a Xiegu G90 with me, which has a maximum power output of 20 watts. So they were perfectly. This was really sort of the ideal setup for field day or for POTA. Everything was operating at its maximum capacity. And after I tuned it up, it worked really well for field day because loops have a very high Q. They receive almost nothing from outside of the passband that you've tuned them to. And the result is that when you go and you look, here's my setup in the trunk of my car. I pulled up a chair and operated out of the trunk of my car.
Oh, wow.
You can see the computer there. And the cable going over. I thought that maybe the metal of the car was going to affect the signal, but it didn't seem to at all.
Yeah.
So I was able to operate on this short cable.
Did you did you rotate that antenna any, or just leave it pretty much fixed?
I tried rotating it, and it didn't make that much difference. It's pretty much omnidirectional.
Yeah.
So anyway, once you get it tuned in, look at that SWR curve.
Yeah.
It really has a high Q. And that's perfect for field day because we were 6A, 6 alpha, and we had other people operating all around me. And we didn't QRM each other at all because of the high Q of the antenna. So that worked out very well.
Yeah, that's good.
And you can see here's the scanner inside the radio scanning the band and showing that I was tuned in to the FT8 watering hole at this point. I also did FT4. Mm-hmm. FT4 was even better. It was just like shooting fish in a barrel. And so you just fire up the computer and look at that. If you take a look at that band scope at the bottom, the bands were just full. This is 20 meters. And you can just see a QSO will happen in a second or two. I had just called CQ. And what happens is every 15 seconds it cycles and boom. There you go.
Yeah.
And we were making QSOs like this right away. And one thing which I really like about FT8 is that the program does the logging for you. You don't need to have a logger like Glenn had. It will just automatically log everything and get it into your Cabrillo log. You can move right on to the next QSO right away. Now, of course, one thing that happened, other than operating and other than the techie stuff, we just had a lot of people socializing, and this one family came by with their 4 kids, and they came and joined us. They had 3 sons and a daughter, and then here are all us old farts, dogs all over the place, socializing with all of us,
Mm-hmm.
and well, we all socialized and ate and worked the bands. And having a YL on site helped tremendously with us getting through the pileups, I must say.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we had lots of food. Here is the sort of the dessert side of the table. You can see we had all sorts of things here, lots of cookies, homemade caramel corn,
Yummy.
and
Starting to get hungry.
all sorts of other things. WB7GR from Cheyenne.
Hey, wait.
makes
What?
this
Hey,
banana
man.
pudding.
Hey, is that banana pudding?
That is banana pudding.
Oh man.
Oh man.
And we just devoured that. That was fantastic. And then and then as the main course, we had the macaroni salad. We had hamburgers and brats and chili. So we had a really good meal. Lots of drinks too. This kept us
Yeah.
hydrated throughout the evening.
All right.
And I worked most of the afternoon and into the evening, and then came home.
Well, it looked like a pretty interesting day for you there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Oh man,
I
I
turned
can't. I
in a
keep.
pretty good log, so that I definitely scored some points for them. We had a lot of fun.
All right. I want some banana pudding now.
Yeah.
You had the best video. Glenn didn't have. It was not near as good as yours
Yeah.
tonight. You win.
I should have taken the table. Next time
yeah,
I'll take a
yeah.
video of our food table.
Yeah. Tell you a story, man, about my banana pudding. This is not a joke, but people might think it is. This is International Joke Day, but this is no joke. When I worked for FedEx out near the airport, Memphis International Airport, there was also the National Guard had an area out there at the airport. And they had this, cafe type deal, for all their people. And we would get to sneak over there and eat in the National Guard cafeteria. And they had this banana pudding out there, man. And I love banana pudding. And, I went down the line. I didn't get any food except I said, all I want is banana pudding. I said, fill the plate up with banana pudding. I think I got like 5 pounds of banana pudding. But man, it was good. All right, that's my banana pudding story, guys. Okay. All right, well, hey, great job, both of you guys, on your field day there. I think it was a little bit more active and a little bit more exciting than what we had here in Memphis. We did get interrupted. Yeah, Nanner Pudding, SZX says Nanner Pudding.
Yep.
We did have some rain, a little bit of rain in the afternoon Saturday. I guess more toward the evening. And then we had rain Sunday morning out there. Anyway, I went out both Saturday and Sunday. Didn't stay but about maybe an hour or less each time. Not many people were out there. I've got a few pictures. I'll pull them up here.
You probably should have gone down to the olive branch.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. I think. Yeah. Of course, let's see. There we go. Yeah, we had, okay, here's the CW operator. I'm not sure what band they were on.
That rig looks like what, an old Kenwood?
Yeah, looks
Yeah, it's
like,
a TS2000.
is it a 2000? TS2000, yeah.
Yeah,
all
with
right.
that curved front.
Let's see. You know what? This may be a video. Looks like a video. No. Let's see what it is.
Yeah, it's video.
Is that a video? Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's talk about. I know what this is. This is Glenn, you mentioned they were going to have that big tower down there again this year.
Yeah.
from the Homeland Security. This is the beginning of a little 1 or 2 minute video going on that tower. Now, guys, I'm going to explain this tower to you. This tower, it builds itself as it lifts. It's a 3-sided tower, and it takes apart each side in about a 20 by 20 inch square. And it makes three piles of 20 by 20 inch sides. If you look closely in this video, you'll see two of the sides being stacked or used. The third stack is kind of behind. It's difficult to see, but as this thing goes up, somehow little hands in there grab 3 sides and stick them together and slap them to the bottom of the tower, and it sends it up 20 inches. And then it grabs 3 more sides and sticks those together and runs it up. So this video might not show you a lot of detail, but let's look at it. This is from Homeland Security.
So the tower collapses into that little box.
Yeah. If you look to the left, look to the left side here. I'll try to stop it here in a minute. Yeah, you see the little square with the cross piece on the left side?
Those are tower sections.
No, it's not a tower. It's just one little piece. It's one side of one piece. If you take that out, all you got is a 20-inch square. That's all that is. Now, if you look to the right, over that yellow reel, you'll see another stack of 20-inch pieces side. And then behind, if you go back to the left, there's a third stack way behind that one. Let's see if we see a little bit more. I thought I had audio here. Why am I not getting any audio?
So it builds the tower out of those tiny 1-foot sections.
Yeah, it builds a tower out of each of those sections. And it's not, that section is not a triangle. That section is just one side. You got to put 3 sides together to make a 20-inch tall piece, and as it goes up. I thought I had a little bit of audio on here, but obviously it's not coming through. Let's see, 61. Anyway, okay, here we go. Now this tower will go up to 80 feet. They've got it at 60 feet unguided. They say they can run it at 60 feet unguided. But if you look at that, each one of those little cross sections on each tower, each one of those pieces there has 3 pieces, 3 sides that it puts together and sticks under that as it goes up. I don't know how it does it. This tower,
Like
by the
an
way,
erector
this tower,
set.
this what?
It's like an erector set.
Yeah. Now this tower came from Homeland Security. It was a military tower that was used to launch aerial drones from, and it's been converted now to, I guess, used for antennas and stuff. Let's see. I don't know why we're not getting any audio out. Okay, so see that thing turning right there? It's turning. Now, I can't even tell you what I'm looking at, to tell you the truth. It must have took one piece out of the stack when it turned like that. And you can see over on the left side behind that reel, it's turning back there. It's taking another piece. It's one of the 3
Oh, it's
pieces.
coming down.
Yeah, it's coming down. Yeah.
It's folding up.
Oh wait, it was going up. It was going up there. It was going up. Now they're going to bring it down. I think they were demoing it for me. There we go. Now it's coming down. No, it's still going up. If you look at the tower.
Still going up.
Yeah. They say they can run it at 80 feet, but they need to guy it. And at 60 feet, they don't guy it. There's reels of coax on there. That's kind of cool.
That's just an amazing thing.
Yeah. Now, see on the back side, you can see the other stack of, you see the other stack right there. Now, each one of those has a little ratchet gear thing on each leg, you know, that I guess the gear uses to run them up. But they're not stacked in squares like boxes. They're stacked in flat sides. Three sides make a 20-inch tall piece of tower. I don't know. Okay, so that was a tower. They did have it this year. They haven't had it out there for a couple years. I'm not sure why. Let's see. I've got some pictures. I think I got a few still pictures. There's nothing much to see, guys. Here we go. So let me put the pictures on here. So we're out at the Germantown Park. That's kind of midway between Memphis and where I live in Collierville. But again, there's a picture of the tower. That's one of the operating positions. Not sure which one it was. I think that was 20 meters right there, and they had a 20-meter vertical, homemade vertical out there, a ground plane that they were using. There's the pavilion. They had a lot of fans around all the edges of the pavilion blowing in. That was probably the coolest place out there, actually, because of all the air movement. It was still very hot out there. This was inside the pavilion. I guess this is a CW station that they were going to use. Looks like a Kenwood radio again. There's a shot of the tower at a distance. I forget which mode this was, but that's Steve there and Tom. You guys may remember Steve. Steve is a pilot, and when we launched the high altitude balloon and we did the balloon chase one year, Steve also helped us try to chase it in his airplane, but he never saw it. Anyway, that's Steve. I don't know what this is. This was at field day. Not sure. I guess they don't want you.
So you bury your old boat anchors?
I don't guess they want you
I was
walking.
just going to say, that's the final resting place of last year's rig that blew up.
It may have been. It may be they don't want you walking on the knot grass.
Yeah.
I don't know. Man. I thought it was kind of unusual there. There we go. When all else fails, ham radio, they had that table right there was set up, ARL, to sign up people, and they had a lot of ARL pamphlets and information that they could give out to people. They did have a go-to station right here on the left side, right there. I'm not sure if they had any takers or not on that. That was I think that's a 20-meter ground plane that they were using in one of the positions I just showed you earlier. You can see the yellow tape there, but there was a radio that ran down each of those yellow tapes right there. Still shot of the tower. Another picture from a different angle. The visitors welcome. And that's about it on the Memphis Field Day. Again, they had snacks out there for everybody, and I don't know, peanut butter and crackers and cinnamon rolls and I forget everything. They had drinks out there for people, so that was pretty good. I didn't stay for the cooking or the lunch or whenever they had it. I did see a stack of hot dog buns, so I'm sure they were going to have hot dogs out there. I'm not sure how that cookout went, to tell you the truth. All right, let's see. Okay, let's do this. We'll be right back, guys, in 1 second. Icom's IC7760 is the pinnacle of base station excellence for amateur radio enthusiasts. Designed to deliver unmatched performance, the IC7760 features state-of-the-art technology, exceptional RF clarity, and an intuitive interface, all housed in a sleek and durable design. This base station features a separate remote control head and RF deck, providing enhanced flexibility for installation. Place the RF deck closer to the antenna feed point, freeing up space on your desk. You can also connect the control head to the RF deck through your home network, enabling remote operation from anywhere in your home without needing a PC. Pair the IC7760 with a powerful IC PW2 linear amplifier and take your contesting experience to the next level with Icom's industry-first linear amplifier. Together, they redefine what's possible in amateur radio. For more information about Icom's amateur radios, please visit icomamerica.com/amateur. All right, let's see. We got a few minutes here. Let me pull up, if I can find it here. Files, people, media. Let's see, we got some new interesting. There's a lot of pictures. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. There's some pictures here people have sent in. I'm going to go ahead and show these. There's some field days. I have no idea where they are. I won't be able to discuss where they are or anything like that. But at least let's look at them. They did send them in, and we'll see if we can't look at them here. Okay, that was sent in by Gary Hansen. Nice little trailer there. Looks like it might be small, but I guess
It's in Brainerd, Minnesota Club.
yeah, it is. I guess you could put a couple people in there probably. And looks like
I love the little screen door on it.
it looks like got an air conditioner on top. That's the important part there, you know. Let's see what we got here. Well, let's see. The thing's got a delay here. Let's see. There we go. Have no idea. I guess same place. These probably are the XYLs of some of the people there, and they came out to enjoy the heat maybe with all the guys. I have no idea.
Well, this one's from Charles Byers. If I'm not mistaken, he's in the Carolinas.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
All right. And there's Charles again. You know, he's got a head on. He may be, I don't know. You sure that's not Texas?
I'm pretty sure he's Carolinas.
Okay. Carolina. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this looks like they're having fun. Got some youth out there. Maybe they're getting interested and get their license. There we go. There, yep.
All of the kids that visited us actually were licensed, which was a pleasant surprise.
Oh,
Cool.
that's good. That's good. Well, there's the food again. You can always just about count on food, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm thinking that's the best part, to tell you the truth. Yep.
Yeah, we had a couple folks taking the test while I was there, but I didn't stay down long enough. Came down to eat and went back up the hill.
Yeah. Well, looks like they're breaking for food. All these are from Charles. He sent a bunch of pictures in. Looks like he's doing his own logging. W8JB says, if you want to make sure people come, serve free food. Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty much the truth.
That's right. You know, some of these clubs, man, they have steaks, they have lobster.
Oh, yeah.
they, you know, it's a big deal for them. This looks like this is inside maybe an RV. That's pretty comfortable looking right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're not sweating. You know. I can just see now, Charles, turn the air up just a degree or two. It's getting cool in here. Okay. Got him a nice mic there and a mic stand for it. Got him a monitor up there. Oh. Look at that big fan. They got him a big fan out there, man. They got what, one of them 48-inch fans out there. That'd probably blow the log away.
Yeah.
Although they do have a slow, you know, a slow speed on them. Now this looks pretty neat here. It's clean. They got nice lights in there. I think.
Yeah, he's in the small trailer.
Yeah, I bet it's cool in there. Yeah. Yeah. Well, must be packing it up time. Hey, okay, here we go. Let's look at our action figures here just to make sure. I think I added a few. I think they're all together here, so let's just take a look at it. That looks pretty much like Glenn. I think that's a good.
That's a good one of me. I actually like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, and everything's proportional to Glenn too. He's short like that, kind of stubby. You know, got short legs and big feet. Yeah. Now, I don't know who this guy is. I can't figure out who he is at all. I think AI probably was holding something against me when they made this one. That one looks a little better. I used a picture.
That one's better.
I used a picture there
That
with.
one looks more distinguished.
Well, yeah, and you know, I got my glasses on there. See, I don't wear glasses anymore. Maybe that's what threw them off. I don't know, man, but you know, that looks a little better, you know. I don't know. Well, there's my glasses again. I still don't think that. I don't think that looks like me. I don't know. No. This one wins. This one wins every time, man.
Oh yeah.
This
Absolutely.
one wins. I mean, this is like. This is the $1 million. The $1 million edition. You know, I mean, it's. I'm not so sure that's really not him there, and they just shrunk the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
a really, really good one.
I think that's really Brett. I think he posed for that in a fake box, oversized box.
Let me over here. Oh.
Yeah. That don't look like me. No. I might have to throw a couple of these away. Now we got the ants. We got Huey, Dewey, and Louie. We tried to get some with Huey, Dewey, and Louie in there, and that pretty much looks like them right there. I thought that one was fairly neat.
Yeah, it looks like Dewey's lost an antenna though.
Oh, did he? Let me look at it. Yeah, well, they went through some crash landings, believe me, over all the different flights we had. Of course, there's no helmets on. Let's see. Now, Hambot, I guess Hambot's okay. You know, Hambot's okay. That's the new action figure, Ham Radio Hero Hambot Edition.
What does it say in the bottom right-hand corner? Hambot Furuncle?
Hambot.
Actionable?
It says fast. Hambot. Ferrioxy. Actionable.
Variolite.
I don't know.
And then actionable, yeah.
Now, here
He's
we
got the
go.
kung
You know,
fu grip.
you know, I didn't even tell them. I didn't even tell them this was Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I did not tell Chat GPT their names. Chat GPT went out there and found them. I didn't even supply this picture, but that's the pictures that the ants that we've used on most of our flights, and they
That's
actually
amazing.
put their names Huey, Dewey, and Louie on there. You know, I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really cool.
All right. Well. All right. Let's see what we got going here. Let's see what we got next on our list here. What time is it going to be? 8:06. 9:06.
906.
Okay. Anything you guys want to talk about right now? I've got one more thing we can show where I've been working on various different antennas. And I keep changing my mind on what I'm going to do. And I had thought, okay, the DX Commander type style with just vertical radiators, I don't like it now because they're short and they're so close to the ground. You know, a 10 meter quarter wave is like 8 feet tall on the ground. So that's like having your antennas on the ground. So I'm thinking, okay, you know, if I put up like an end-fed half wave, a lot of the power is going to be at the top end, and it's going to be much higher up in the air. So I thought, okay, that's something to do. So I thought about that, and I thought, well, why don't I just make some maybe a single wire trapped vertical. You know, trapped vertical, 10 meters, 17 meters, 20 meters, 40 meters. So I started thinking about it, but guess what? The trap is still going to be 8 feet off the ground for 10 meters. It's going to be low. I don't like it. So I'm thinking, okay, I've got a 60-foot piece of wire going straight up in the air out there. Why don't I match that? It'd be an end-fed random length long wire. Maybe the voltage distribution would be high toward the ends. And that would put my signals out much higher up in the air than down at the ground at 8 feet. So I'm thinking, okay, let's do that. Let's go that route now. So I done changed my mind 4 times. At least I'm getting to experiment and play with antennas. But this is my new deal. This is what I'm thinking now. So I've got my inductor here, and I'm going to tap it for 80, 40, 20, 17, 10, and I'm going to use my relay, my control box. My control box will tune 7 different relays. It'll turn 7 different relays on out there. So right now I'm only showing 3, like 80, 40, 20. But I've already picked out the points on the inductor that I need, and I've tested this. So if I go, say, 40 meters, this would be my 40 meter right here, I would use this amount of inductor here for 40 meters, and that would put that amount of inductance into my antenna. And then I would also have a tuning cap, a variable capacitor that would tune it. So you can see here, like if that's relay 3 right there, this is the other half of relay 3 here. So when relay 3 is turned on, it takes this tap, and it also puts this capacitor to the output of the antenna. So what that gives me is an L network, and if anybody's ever used an L network, it is a great network for impedance matching. I mean, it'll bring your impedance or your SWR down like 1 to 1, 1.0 to 1. But basically, an L is just a single inductor like this, and a capacitor variable capacitor right here. And that's your transmit right there. So that's an L circuit, and that's for a low impedance like 50 ohms, 50 ohms to a high impedance. Now the nice thing about a L circuit, an LC circuit for tuning is if you happen to have a low impedance on one side and a high on the other, you just turn this thing around. You make it backwards. Basically, it's just this. The capacitor is on the front side. The capacitor is on the front side. So that's how you could go from a low to a high impedance or a high to low impedance. This is the one we need right here. So in looking at my diagram here, I should be able to pick an inductor, an inductance, and match it with a variable capacitance in this form right here, and match that 60-foot piece of wire to any band. And that's what I'm working on next. I'm kind of working on that. It's just hot outside. I have to get down out there and play around with this. It's not easy to try to pick the components and pick the taps and stuff inside here when you don't have the actual area out there with the ground you want and with the 60-foot whip, or 60-foot antenna. Now,
now, those relays are all relays that require current continuously. They're not latching relays.
no, these would just be, once I select on my switch, if I select position number 1, it'll turn relay number 1 on. And relay number 1 is a double pole double throw, so it'll select the proper tap, and it'll select the proper capacitance that's already preset. In other words, I will set it and leave it. And then if I want to go to a different band, I go to position 2. It energizes relay 2. One side of the double pole double throw selects the tap, and the other side of the double pole double throw selects the capacitor that's pre-tuned that forms the LC network for resonance. So this is what I'm working on next. I've got something here I'll show you. It's kind of interesting. I was going to show you the whole. I got 2 of these at Huntsville last year. The guy gave them to me. I think at the end of the day we're going to throw them away. I wanted one. So it's a waterproof. I've got a waterproof box. Wrong one. I've got a waterproof.
box.
Yeah, I got a waterproof box out there, and on this box, there's a great big glass standoff for the antenna. And I think this was a matching unit for a broadcast, probably an AM broadcast transmitter. It has a coax connector, SO230, SO239. No, SO2. Yeah, is that right?
SO is the socket, PL259 is the plug.
SO239. Yeah. It's on the box for your input. It's got the big single glass insulator with the feed through for you to hook a wire onto for the antenna or hook it to your tower. And also under that glass feed through, it's got a spark gap piece of metal, with little sharp points on it that's a spark gap right there. Anyway, inside the box, once you open it up, it had some interesting things in here. Now I've just about gutted it. This is one of the layers that was in there. This is one of the layers that was in here. I've taken everything basically off here, but you can see I've got a terminal strip, and when I hook my Ethernet or my Cat5 cable up, I need 8 connectors, and I've got my 8 connectors there. I've got an inductor here that I can use. Here, an inductor. You might wonder what these are. Look what these are. They're the capacitors. And basically what this did with a whole lot more than I wanted it to do, it's basically what I'm drawing up and I'm saying I'm going to build. But you can see we've got variable capacitors. There's 4 of them here, variable capacitors in the inductor. And they had these wired up. And you can see the different taps here on the inductor. And look on the back side. Okay, there's my terminal strips. Look at there, the back side, they're already bypassed and everything. So all I gotta do is take this cable right here, and I will connect it to, I'll put my relays, I'll glue my relays in here, and they will select either the tap and capacitor. So what I'll do is I'll set this up and I'll tune it for each band, and the antenna switch box will select the specific relay that puts 40 meters on, or 20, or 17, or 12, and I can use that one piece of wire. And by having a separate resonant circuit for each band, they can all be pre-tuned and preset. So that's something I'm working on right now. And one of the things in here, it's kind of neat what they had in here, which was more complicated for me to try to trace. Look at this. Glenn, you have any idea what this is?
That looks like a remotely operated gang switch.
It is, and this is
players.
what selected the different taps. And the interesting thing is, that's not a motor. It's more like it's like a stepper, like a relay with a cog.
A geared stepper, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a stepper. And when I put voltage on that, it goes one click each time, and it'll actually rotate. It'll actually rotate that, But I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use my rotary switch 1 through 7 positions, to select the relays. So I've got a bunch of relays. I've got some relays that I'll be using in there. And probably what I'll do, I'll probably just put some silicone on the bottom and just glue them down on that shelf here. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm leading. I mean, I have changed my mind on this antenna so many times, but I've learned a lot, and I've had fun, different steps. So right now I've got a video here where I tuned, with the spectrum analyzer, I tuned one of the coils, the 10-meter coil. Maybe I'll play that. And then if you don't have a spectrum analyzer, I'll also show you on this video how to tune that coil with just a antenna analyzer. So I've got that in here too. So I think I'll play this. It's probably going to be 20 minutes. That'll take us just a little bit past the end of the show here, but I think it's something a lot of people might want to see. And instead of fixed capacitors, guys, what I'm doing here is I'm using a length of coax, because all these coaxes have a certain amount of capacitance per foot. For instance, like RG400 or RG58 has about 29 picofarad per foot. And all you got to do, if you need a 29 picofarad capacitor across that coil, that inductor, you put a little over a foot of coax on there, and you just start clipping it off, and you watch your spectrum analyzer, and you can watch the resonant frequency just move down to where you want it. And you'll see on here, you'll see me moving the frequency down. In fact, I cut it and I went too far. And I think I said in the video, well, you can't go back once you cut it off. But actually, you could go back. I figured out a way to do it. you know, where the end of the coax where I split it off with the center conductor and the shield, because there's no shield around the center conductor here, there's no capacitance. So what I did, I just took some insulated wire and I soldered it to the shield, and I wrapped it around the center conductor about 3/8 of an inch, and that just brought the capacitance right back up where it needed to be. So, you guys want to say anything before I put that video on? Anything going on?
Oh, that's clever. One thing I'm curious
Yeah,
about
looks
is,
kinda
do
cool.
you have to compensate for either inductance or capacitance in the relay contacts? I've always worried that relays would throw things off if I built something that way.
I don't think so. You know, in all the building we built all our own equipment back like in the '60s, and transmitters and stuff, and you know, I look at stuff and I'm surprised. You know, you say, oh, I got to maintain a 50 ohm impedance through here. Man, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You know?
Yeah, and those were larger relays, so you know you had
Yeah,
a
there's some big contacts.
good
There's some big contacts on here.
length of unshielded connection, and you're like, oh my God, how can I have an unshielded connection inside this thing?
Yeah, well, in fact, one set of the contacts is going to go to ground. And anyway, I'm going to put the video on, and hey, if you guys see something or yell during the video, I'll just stop the video. But here it is. We'll take a look at this. And if somebody's thinking about making them these traps, they're easy to make, man. Now I use the RG400 because it's smaller. You could use RG8, RG213, but you can't fold that stuff up. It's too heavy. Now one of the things I might do, I showed you this matching deal that I'm building over here. It had those 4 capacitors. I really want to go to like 7 bands, and if those capacitors don't have the range I want, I may just put coax in here. I can roll it up. There's plenty. This box is like this square. It's a big box, and I can just for each, you know, I can put a 2 foot of coax in here on each one of those and just coil it up. And the coiling up doesn't make any difference. It's okay.
So you're doing a stub match.
Yeah. Well.
The stub match is sort of an LCD.
Yeah,
Also an LCD.
well, it's not. You know, on a stub, you basically, it would be a certain length. This is really not like a shorted stub or open stub. This is more like I need 30 picofarads of capacitance, so I'm going to cut it at 30 picofarads, you know, and use that. And I practiced with over. I can roll it up. It didn't affect the frequency very much. It might affect it just a few kilohertz. But what you would do if you need to roll it up, you can roll it up with the exception of maybe the last 3 inches or so, and then trim it a little bit. And it's very stable. I'll put this on. If you guys see something, yell, and we'll stop and talk about it. Let's see. Do we have audio?
We don't
No.
have audio.
All right. I see why, right here.
Select the tab for the different bands.
We'll
I
just
don't
start
like
over.
that idea.
Here we go.
Or hello everybody, I'm over here at the workbench. You know, I've been playing with different type of antennas. We tried the fan, vertical dipole. I didn't like the way that worked. I was gonna, take a coil and with relays, I was gonna select the taps for the different bands. I don't like that idea. I like resonant antennas because I like to run higher power, maybe kilowatt, and if I do, not many people have a 1 kilowatt or 1.5 kilowatt tuner. Now I do have one out there on a extended ZEP antenna, but not on this antenna I'm building here. I don't have one for every antenna. Therefore, I like resonant antennas. Now, so I've decided now, I've changed my mind 3 times on the show, and I've decided now to try a trap peripheral. I've never really had a trap antenna before, but I'm building some traps now, and I get to use my spectrum analyzer here, and I love the spectrum analyzer here. I'll show you why in a little while, but that helps me tune it. Now, so a trap antenna, traps basically are just a coil of wire. This one here has 3.5 turns, and it's on a 2-inch form. It's 3.5 turns, and then it's got a capacitor across it. Now, this is going to be a 10-meter trap, and we're tuning this 10-meter trap right now. And basically, I took a variable capacitor and put it across it, and tuned it to the dip I wanted on my spectrum analyzer. And then I can measure this. But also there are formulas on the internet and calculators that will actually calculate what value I need. And so, you know, we can use capacitors, but look, you see these little blue capacitors? I got some bigger ones. I got some 30,000 volt ones. But I didn't feel like that they may handle the current or the power like I want to. The best thing to do would be to use some like doorknob capacitors. And here's some 70 picofarad doorknob capacitors. These are very high voltage capacitors. Here's another one right there. These all came out of old radios and TVs over the years. Just to show you their application, this is a 40 meter trap with an insulator in the center. And if you look down in there, you will see one of the doorknob capacitors that with it and the coil here, it resonates at the frequency where I cut off at 40 meters. And this actually would give me 80 meters above it if I wanted to use this. Let's go back to this. Now, so you notice these are fixed values. These are 70 picofarads. They're fixed values. And you can use a fixed value that's close, but then you have to adjust the length of the coil. You can get by a little bit with spreading the turns apart or squeezing them together, but in this case, it's not making a whole lot of difference. So to tune this coil, since I only had some fixed capacitors, I'm going to try and use a piece of coax here as a capacitor. Now, different coaxes have different values of capacitance per foot. You can look it up and see what it is. I also took my inductance meter right here, and I put my inductance meter on the coax, and it tells me how many microhenries per foot there would be. I need a little over a foot.
Well, that should have been picofarad.
To make it resonate here. Now, let's jump over real quick to the spectrum analyzer here. And I love my spectrum analyzer. I got 2 leads coming off of it. This lead right here, this lead is the output of the tracking generator, and this is the input for the receive side to put it on the scope. And what the tracking generator does, this is actually a receiver. It goes from 0 cycles to like 2 gigahertz. And what the tracking generator does, it sends a signal out from 0 to 2 gigahertz. It just sweeps it across there, and we'll be able to see the dip. So let's hook it up right here on our trap. So what I'm going to do is just hook the trap in series, basically, with our spectrum analyzer in and out there. And if you look up here right now, you will see, if you look right here, you'll see the resonant dip right there. Let me rotate this and see if I can, let's see, minimum search. Okay, so right now this is resonating at 18.91 megahertz. You can see the dip right there. Now, this is going to be a 10-meter trap, and I really want it to resonate at about 28 point. Let me see. I got my paperwork over here. About 28,280. That is below where I normally operate. And my studying says that the trap should be tuned either right above or right below the band. But I'm gonna tune it right below where I operate, so it should have the most efficiency close to the frequency I'm operating. So I've got the spectrum analyzer hooked on here. We're looking at 18.9 megahertz. Now let's tune it. Now, you notice on a variable capacitor here, we can actually tune it and get different capacitance. On a fixed capacitor, it's fixed. We can't get it. But I'm using a piece of coax, and we will roll this up later and tuck it in here. So you can see this piece of coax is across. It's across the coil. I think you can see that with the camera. Maybe let me get it over here. Yeah, it's across the coil. Okay, let's see if we can move that resonant frequency up. We're at 18 now. We want to go up to 28. So I'm going to go up here and let's see if the camera can show both the scope and this. So, okay, let's back up just a little. So there we go. All right, so you can see right now our resonant frequency is here. Here's the end of that coax. I'm going to start clipping it, and that should move this frequency up. Let's see what it does. I know I need a little over a foot. I'm at about 2.5 feet now, so I'm going to cut off a fairly good chunk here. So here we go. Now watch this jump forward when I cut this. I don't know if you saw it or not, but it actually went from, you see a little 1 right there. That's a marker. We were right there, and now we've gone to there. So we got a ways to cut. We got a ways to go. So I'm gonna cut about another 5 inches off. Let's watch it here. Tell you what, let me put the marker right in that dip. Okay, I've got the marker marking the dip right here. All right, I'm gonna cut another piece off. Let's watch it. Resonant frequency. We're up to 20. We want to go to 28, so I'm gonna cut it right here. All right. So you can see here we went from 20 to. I'm gonna move the marker down to here, and let's see what we're at now. So I'm moving the marker down. 20. So we've moved the resonant frequency of that to 21.7. So we got a ways to go. Let's cut some more off here. Again, watch the scope. Here we go. All right, it moved again. We went from 21.7 to, let me bring the marker down. Actually, I can hit the minimum search. There we go. Now we're at 23 megahertz. Let's cut some more off. Here we go. All right, let's hit minimum search. Oh, we're at 25.5. So look at this. Take a look at this, guys. I told you we needed about a foot of coax because it's got that amount of capacitance per foot that we need. We're going to start getting real close here, so we don't want to cut too much off. So we got to be careful now. We want to go again to 28. About what did I say? 28.2. Let me look at my chart again over here. 28, about 28.280. Here we go. All right, 28.280. Here we go. All right, we're going to hit the minimum search. We're at 26.7. All right, I need to start cutting a little off. I can't put it back on. I can take it off, but I can't put it back on. So we're going to start taking smaller pieces off. I'm at 26.7. Let's look at the minimum. Whoa, at 27.2. I'm getting really close now. So we're going to have to start being real careful here. 27.2. Let's hit the minimum again. Let's see where we are. It's like 27.6. Whoa, okay, that scares me. Oh man, we're at 28.4. I think I actually went a little bit further than I wanted to go, to tell you the truth. I was actually wanting to be around 28.28. In that last cut, I just took a little too much off, and it'd probably still work for 10 meters, but there you go. It's about a foot long, and you can see how we tune how we tune the trap. And what I'll do, and I've already checked this, what I'll do in these traps is, and the reason I'm using this RG400 is I think it's a Teflon interconductor, very high quality military grade, and it'll handle power where something like RG58 would not. And you could use RG8 like this, but look, this won't even bend hard. It's so stiff it won't even bend. So that's the reason I picked this. We should be able to maybe roll this up somehow. Okay, probably roll it up and maybe even, I don't know, maybe even put it inside here somehow. It wouldn't hurt if it's hanging, I guess, but you know, we'll probably fasten it some way in the trap there. There we go. So basically, that's a 10-meter trap right there. If I put that on a piece of quarter-wave 10-meter wire out there, and then anything above that would be, you know, it would be 15. I'd put a 15-meter trap, and then a 20-meter trap, and you know, 40-meter trap, and so forth. But that's how we do traps. And man, I cut a little too much off. I don't think I can do anything to recover from there. I don't know. I might can slide the shield where I separated the shield here. I might can slide the shield back up a little bit, but I doubt it. Or I might could. I'll figure out something. You know, I'll figure out something. But anyway, there we go. That is a 10-meter trap for a vertical antenna. Back to the workbench. Okay, let's say you don't have a spectrum analyzer. They're pretty high dollar. This Regal is one of the cheaper ones, but it was right at, you know, $1,000, and not everybody can get these. I will confess that I've really used it a lot. I've learned a lot, and I really like to play with it. But anyway, if you don't have a spectrum analyzer, you can use a antenna analyzer, various different ones. If you don't have one, I'm sure probably you have friends that have antenna analyzers, but you can use that to check the resonant frequency of an LC circuit. So here's our LC circuit. If you remember, on a spectrum analyzer, it showed we were, it was resonant around 28 megahertz, and that was to cut off anything above 28. So to use a analyzer, we just use a loop. So you can see right here, I just got a small loop of wire, no certain length, just a loop. And I'm going to show you, if I can, what to do here. So let's turn the analyzer on. And let's put the, you want to slightly couple. You don't want to couple very tight. You want to slightly couple. So we're just going to put the coil inside the loop like this. We're just going to set it inside the loop. Then we're going to come back here and we're going to tune the antenna analyzer to see where it's resonant. Now this is not measuring SWR. We're only looking for the dip, and that's going to tell us where it's resonant. So here we go. We know where the spectrum analyzer said we were at 28, so let's go up to about 28 here. Okay, there we go. Now let's tune the frequency. Oh, look at there. Okay. So right there, it says, whoa, man, we were resonant at 28.277 megahertz. That's just perfect where I wanted it to be, because I'm going to operate on that frequency or a little above, probably. Not much, not anywhere below it, but it is going to have a certain bandwidth where you'll be able to operate above and below that for, you know, maybe 25 or 30 kilohertz. But let's see if I can demonstrate this a little better. Let me see if I can get this loop around. I don't know if I can or not. You can probably see it here. Watch this.
Look at there, just slightly coupled. And you can see that 28285 is the resonant frequency of the trap. So that's another way that you can check resonance of an LC circuit if you decide you want to build one. All a resonant circuit is just a coil of wire and basically a capacitor. We're using this RG400 high quality coax for the capacitor. It's got about 29 picofarad per foot. And what we would typically do is just roll that up and tuck it into the form here. You notice nothing's connected to this end. The only thing you got to be sure about the end here, just make sure the shield and the center is not real close together, as it could arc over. So you want to kind of peel the shield back a little bit. But it's kind of neat the way, look at that, look at that. I like it, man. 28.0, I'm gonna lay that down right there. Look at there. All right, guys, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And now I'm not going to use traps in my, well, I'm not going to use traps in my antenna. Now I'm going with a tuned LC circuit that I can set with a inductor and capacitor. Interesting. What do you think? It was easy.
I think it's pretty cool.
They were easy to build. And I played around like Brett. You were talking about like a stub, shorted stub, open stub. I played around with those, particularly at VHF. And if you really look at this was about a little over 12 inches long. So that would be as a stub. That would be up somewhere around 160 megahertz, maybe. A quarter wave stub. A quarter wave stub that's open on the end actually reflects the short. So a quarter wave stub on 2 meters would be about 19 inches, I guess. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're really doing. The interesting thing here is you're really doing two different things with the two techniques. When you have a trapped antenna, you're actually tuning the antenna itself. When you have a matching network, you're really matching to the impedance of the antenna, but you're not making the antenna resonant at that frequency.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested in finding out how the efficiency differs between those two things.
Well, I feel too with a long wire up in the air, 60 feet high, you're going to get more radiation up high than you would with a quarter wave down on the ground. So I see that as an advantage. I don't know. But as you know, we can't see a lot of this stuff. It's just magic. And, you just put it together and it works, guys, back in the olden days, I hate to keep admitting I'm from the olden days, we didn't even have SWR meters. We didn't even know what they were. Very few people had them.
Well, we had grid dip meters.
Yeah, some people did. Didn't even know how they worked. But anyway, but you know what? I had just as much fun and talked to just as many places and countries with no SWR meter than I did with one, or no antenna analyzers, no SWR meters,
Yep. Well, that's the thing. All an antenna really is a transmission line that leaks.
Yeah.
And, your signal's running along it, and, it gets out. So the idea is just to let it get as much out as possible before it's lost to the resistance of the line.
Yeah.
However you do it.
Well, all right, guys. Well, we've just about passed our time tonight. We ran a little bit longer tonight than normal, but hopefully we had something interesting for somebody, Join us next week. This is Amateur Radio Roundtable, ham radio, electronics, shortwave, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time on W5KUB. We'll say good night to everybody. It's 73 to everybody. See you
3.
next week.